In the ancient world, rulers worshipped as gods sent out great armies to create great empires. These emperors changed the course of history by conquering country after country. One tiny nation conquered again and again was the Israelites. Perhaps no people in history were more likely to be forgotten. But these were not just any people. These were the people of the book. The people of Abraham, the first to encounter the one true God. Of Moses, the only human being to see God face to face. And of David, warrior, king. The Israelite stories taught unique lessons about God. And in the hands of great rabbis like Hillel, the Israelites' Bible would change how human beings understood what was right and what was wrong, and how they should treat one another. And against all odds, the Israelites would change human history as much as any empire that ever existed. In the 4th century BC, a remarkable people invaded the Middle East. They were the Greeks. Led by one of the greatest generals in history, Alexander the Great, the Greeks would conquer the world from Greece to India. But there was far more to the Greeks than military prowess. The Greeks had created the most sophisticated civilization the world had ever seen. Their magnificent art was inspired by a reverence for the human body, which also found its expression in the athletic feats on display in their Olympic Games. But the Greeks also revered the mind. And their greatest thinkers were responsible for the flowering of philosophy, science, and mathematics. As a result, Hellenic architecture, politics, and economics were centuries ahead of the other peoples of the world. For the Jews, the takeover of most of the known world by the Greeks was a threat more dire than any a mere army could pose.
When the Greek world expanded ever eastward, ultimately the Jews of the land of Israel found themselves almost literally smack in the middle of the Hellenistic Empire. We were surrounded by Hellenistic culture, and willy-nilly we found ourselves becoming Hellenists. This triggered both a great advance and a great struggle within the Jewish people for how we would identify. Would we simply succumb to Hellenism, or would we somehow maintain our unique identity as a people?
The Greeks brought brilliant innovations to Judea that would completely transform daily life.
This, I think, was the great innovation of the Hellenistic world, the mass movement.
Greek culture offered Jews exciting new opportunities. The many farmers who produced olive oil could now sell their oil in cities from Alexandria to Athens. As this trade flourished, Jewish communities were established in cities throughout the Greek Empire. And new Greek cities were built in Judea. But as the Greek influence in Jewish life grew, more and more Jews worried that their own culture was about to be crushed.
We can understand how the ancient Jews regarded Hellenism simply by
reminding ourselves how traditional societies around the world have regarded the coming of American culture, movies, Western styles of dress, Western technology. In our own times, we have seen how violently the more traditional elements of Islam and Judaism and Christianity have regarded the materialistic, secular culture of the Western world.
As this remarkable new culture swept from its cradle in Greece across the Middle East, devout Jews faced a monumental challenge. How could Judaism, with its focus simply on being good, compete with the vibrant and exciting way of life the Greeks had to offer?